Good evening. How you doing? Thanks to rock with me, the movie Mystic, as I walk through with you on this stream the broadcast that is now available and will also be going live at midnight. The latest Mystic and Sphere broadcast is called Some Hippie Stuff from Austin, Texas. 7 South by Southwest creators speak. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you dig the new background. Usually I have the skylight stars going across my face or whatever, and more ambient lighting. I'm trying this out because this bookshelf is awesome. You probably can't see everything behind me, but I got some cool stuff. Still, this doesn't cover everything. There's like a whole other level to everything. Look at this. Oh my god, it's amazing. I've been doing stuff in the room, and it's a lot of fun. Like, this used to be, like, I had a table here where I'm sitting right now, and I moved that, and where the TV's at right there. I'm not gonna show you it, but and then what the TV was sitting on before I checked it. Anyways, presentation note. It's not integral, but worth noting. So stuff's going on at CKCU. We had our AGM yesterday, which I could not attend. I was just reading some stuff about that right now, actually. And we're still on the air doing our thing. Right now, what's live right now? Definitely the Jazz Guys in a mellow tone. Yeah. And so, oh god, what's the name of that host? Yeah, Bernard Sepien is a dude who I would interact with because he was the show before mine, and he was one of the rotating hosts of the Jazz Guys, in a mellow tone and Rabble Without a Cause. And he's someone who I met more than a few times, and I wanted to say rest in peace to him. He was a nice man, a good man. He was nothing but respectful and kind to me. I didn't experience an ounce of negativity from him, and I believe I met his wife once, and she was really nice. So R.I.P. I was legitimately upset when I heard that. It is pretty sad, but here we are, and yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because I don't think I've brought that up on a YouTube stream yet. He died a few weeks ago. So yeah. But as for tonight's stream, you can I gave you the link below. You can just listen to it now if you want to, or you can wait till midnight. Maybe you're driving around in the car in Ottawa and you want to listen to it at midnight, and or listen to it on the site at midnight. I get it. It's fun when stuff goes live. It's cool. I get it. So I have my write-up, and I'm going to go through it, and then I'll say peace. So, the first thing is the image I picked for it, like the image upload for the broadcast, is an album, actually. It's the first time I put, a music album instead of, a movie image in there, because, hey, it's South by Southwest. There's a lot of concerts. And so the title of this broadcast is called Some Hippie Stuff from Austin, Texas. And then the album you see is some cold rock stuff. So obviously, that's where I got the title from. Was from that album. So I did a little play on words. But that's what it is. Some cold rock stuff. Which is on its 10th year anniversary, I might add. It came out in 2011. I was a big fan of that album. If you like trip hop, if you like cold hip-hop beats, you like this album for sure. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm going to do the write-up now. All the interviews that are about to be rhymed off are with directors who their project is playing in South by Southwest. That's true. The last broadcast, 3 out of 4 were South by Southwest directors. This is completely South by Southwest. 4 out of 4. So we get Kelly Cali and Angelique Molina talking about their fantastic Corona era set film. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. And that was like, that movie and Swan Song and were my favorite narratives at South by Southwest. My favorite film, I'll just say it now, like it doesn't really matter, was Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, the Kayla Janess documentary about folk horror. Loved it. 3 hours long, really well edited, seamless editing, like very educational. So that was my number one. But in terms of narrative, I might like Swan Song a little bit more, but I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Probably my number 3 of the festival and my number 2 narrative, definitely. And my favorite Corona era, or Rona era, like I like to call it, set film. There was another one too that was cool, but I like this one a little bit more. And you should read about it. But if you're curious, if you'd like, how do I describe it? If you'd like colorful movies, like movies with spunk and character that aren't necessarily like shocking or violent or coarse, but movies that are sort of weird and tangential and interesting and expressive, then you'll love this. And it's funny. It's like I don't want to use those words and make it sound like it's not entertaining. It's entertaining, but it's intelligent entertainment. That's what I would say. So yeah, that movie's great, and it was so nice to talk to the co-directors about it because I had just seen the movie that morning. And they told me, because it was a hot movie, it was an in-competition movie, they were like, the publicist said, like, hey, you could watch it this morning. I'm saying you got like 24 hours to get an interview ready, because it's going to be like at 7 p.m. your time. And if you can't do it, sorry, we got to move on. And so it was intense. So I was like kind of like begrudgingly watching a movie in the morning before my shift. And I was like, God, like, what's this going to be like? Is this going to suck? I don't know. You never know, because there's not much hype going on before it's been released at a festival. But I loved it. It was so much fun. So entertaining. And so I was like legitimately stoked throughout my shifts to talk to Kelly and Angelique about this project that I was very enthusiastic about. Okay, and then director Brendan Fitzgerald and producer Dre Bernardi follow up by talking TYT Productions documentary The Oxy Kingpins, which will make you rethink the American opioid crisis. And that it will. It certainly will. This is, I think, it was a really strong documentary, and I don't think another documentary at South by Southwest made me so angry. But again, like an intelligent anger, a righteous anger. I think anger is appropriate in politics. I think people do have reason to be pissed off about a lot of things. And when you get onto the topic of politics, it's hard not to scream. And you will see, if you see the Oxy Kingpins, you will see what I'm talking about. Because basically, not to be a tease, I'll just tell you, what is kind of crazy is they roll with a drug dealer who sold Oxy Cotton, and which is like a legal drug, right? So it's a prescription drug. But the thing is, he says basically you go to a small town where addiction is high, in the States, and you get like a clean face for the business, like for a pharmaceutical company, right? Like a little mom and pop shop, and then the drug dealers, they get the prescriptions and they bring it out to people who are, don't need it medically, and where the crime, the corporate crime, is that the pharmaceutical companies supply a disproportionate amount of products to these places. So let's say there's like 1,000 people, and then like 200 of them are on Oxy, or like 500 of them are on Oxy. They'll like supply that disproportionate amount. I'm not going to get the figures right, but like it's basically crazy. It's insane, and it's like, it makes you crazy. And what I liked about this documentary is it's TYT's first full-length documentary. So what I liked that it was about that and like a specific issue and not just like AOC and Justice Dems try to stir things up because like it's so reported on like it's so been done and they are gonna do that topic, but it was nice to see them do something different for their debut film. I like that. I'm actually really happy about that. And yeah, so Brendan directed it, and then Drea, I say Bernardi in the interview. I screw up her name. It's Bernardi, but she actually preferred when I say Bernardi. I make her sound like she's like in the Dario Argento inner circle, but they were fun to talk to for sure. And it's the longest interview in the broadcast. It's like 23 minutes, I think. And I really enjoy talking to them. Also, one thing I want to mention is I'm hopping forward now a little bit into the write up. Is that I basically I come in. There's the theme song. I come in, and then what happens is before all 4 interviews is a review of another movie, a track, a review from the movie attached to the interview. The interview. I come back, repeat. And then I'll explain the last 20 minutes at the end. But, yeah. So, and then the next one interview is with co-directors David Alvarado and Jason Sussberg. And they talk their documentary, We Are As Gods, which is about Bay Area legend Stuart Brand. So, I found them to be very cool guys. Very calm, reasonable, intelligent, documentarians interested in science. Basically, they did a documentary about Bill Nye the Science Guy and some other stuff, another one before that, and I actually really enjoyed We Are As Gods. I thought it was kooky in a good way, and I'll explain. So Stuart Brand was part of the Merry Pranksters, which was interesting to me because I basically read all of The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test by Tom Wolfe, which looks at a group called the Merry Pranksters, which is sort of like a Bay Area cult. Let's just say it. Let's get honest. And they were a bunch of acid heads, and they were led by Ken Casey, who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And so that's kind of interesting because that's a great movie, right? I haven't read the book, but it was a great movie with Jack Nicholson. And so when I read that book, I was like, that's kind of interesting. And Stuart Brand was one of the Merry Pranksters, and he's sort of into conservation. He had a magazine in the 70s called Whole Earth Catalog, which was full of just esoteric, interesting facts. Steve Jobs was a big fan of that, so I thought that was kind of cool. A lot of interesting, eccentric thinkers, championed the Whole Earth Catalog. And Stuart Brand has some positions I find weird. The most glaring one is that he wants to bring back extinct species, including the woolly mammoth. Not dinosaurs, but he wants to do Jurassic Park style science on extinct species, which to me legitimately seems pointless and strange and counterproductive. It seems like a waste of time to me. But it is amusing and it's interesting to talk about. And then the other thing is he kind of has this position on technology, whereas technology can do no wrong, a maximalist position. And personally, I'm not really down with automation. I think it's not a good trend. So to say that put out there this idea seems a little strange to me. So that's okay though. It's okay to disagree on things. The Whole Earth Catalog thing is cool. The Merry Pranksters thing is insane, but interesting. And then those other two things are really weird to me. So that is to say, he is an interesting character for a documentary. That I don't have to agree with him on everything. I just said I didn't. But he is an interesting subject for a documentary, and I think it's David and Jason are cool guys. And then finally, I talked to a major character. Her name was Gracie Otto, and she talks about her documentary Under the Volcano, which looks at an unconventional record studio recording studio set up by George Martin. Okay, so it's basically a spot in the Caribbean, an island town, very small, where there was a volcano. And in 1995, the volcano actually did erupt, and this community is just no more. But they had this like remote little like mansion, I guess, in that area. George Martin bought it and made it, and so many bands came and recorded there through 1979 and 1989. It's really kind of incredible. I never heard of this story. It's before my time, but still, it was like Duran Duran, Elton John, The Police, Earth, Wind and Fire, The Rolling Stones. Crazy, crazy, crazy. A lot of other people too. They would just like roll through, post up, be away from like and not like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That was there, but like just like other people trying to get at them, and just like the nonstop grind of the city. None of that was there. So they were in a place that was so relaxed, but impending doom was there because it was literally a volcano that could have erupted any time and killed all of them. But actually, an earthquake or something happened to destroy the studio, and the Rolling Stones were the last one there. And what was cool is when talking to Gracie and researching, before I did prepping the interview, while I'm prepping the interview, I'm, going on her IMDb and stuff, and I realized she's, like, my age. And she had that lens of, like, not being so attached to all these acts, these musical acts necessarily. And she could just talk about it. Without, like, maybe more objectively, or maybe not objectively, but through a more detached lens. I don't know. Is that right? I don't know how else to say it. But she was super cool. She was a major character. She dropped a lot of F-bombs in the interview. And often when I do an interview and there's an F-bomb, there's like one or two. And so I'll do the bleep sound. And it's fun. It's a fun sound. But she dropped like a lot of F-bombs. So I actually had to... what I decided to do was delete them. And the emphasis and meaning changes. It just does. But hey, what can I do? It's going. I don't want to tell her to stop because then it would sort of break up the flow of the interview. I know I could just edit it out later, and she's not going to care. So yeah, so there are like a lot of joint interviews of this broadcast. 3 joint interviews, and then Gracie. And Gracie's a major character. She's like 2 people as well. She's got the charm and energy of 2 people, man. She's cool. I don't know if I ever met her before. I might have met her in Toronto. I could be wrong, though, too. She could just be reminding me of someone. But after with the interview, I was like, did I meet her at a party? Was it the South by Southwest TIFF party? I don't know, man. Maybe. Maybe not. So, like I said, I set up the broadcast, so it's like review, track, review, interview. So review of other movie. So basically, I started off with Ludi before the I'm Fine, Thanks for Asking interview, and Ludi is that was a movie that I thought was okay. It had some things, one scene and then one theme that I liked, and it was like a substantive thing in the story, but I was kind of ho-hum about it. It wasn't great. It's basically about like a Haitian immigrant doing healthcare work, and it kind of has this existential question about like what's the point of grinding all the time. And it's pretty bleak, but I like that. But the movie itself, it's okay. And so there's that. And then The Hunt for Planet B, that was my review. Sorry, before Brendan and Drea talking about the Oxy Kingpins. And that movie's cool, especially if you're interested in NASA and space exploration, the cosmos, all that stuff. You're gonna find that interesting. So look out for that. And then before I talk with Jason and David about We Are As Gods, you will hear my review of another South by Southwest movie called Paul Dude's Lunch Break, which is a movie I do not like. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars to Letterboxd, which is the lowest rating I've given for a South by Southwest movie so far. And I stand by it, man. It was, to me, like, I guess, like, comedy's tough. Because sometimes there's, it doesn't translate, you know, when it's from another country. And I found that was the case with this. It was just, like, a British regional comedy that I didn't laugh at. But I do have some nice things to say about it, so stay tuned for that. And then, before my interview with Gracie, I review a VOD movie, currently available on VOD. A movie that's currently available on VOD called Doors, and that's like a sci-fi horror anthology that has like sort of like Corona themes, and it's really interesting. I think I'm gonna rewatch it because I felt like it was layered, and it was definitely interesting. Some segments I definitely liked more than others, and my favorite was the last one because it's like an evil Zoom interview, recorded Zoom interview, and that's hilarious because I do Zoom interviews all the time, and to see something so diabolical over Zoom, that's just amusing to me. I haven't had that experience yet, and I know I won't to that extent. But I've yet to have like a sinister Zoom moment, and that was fun to see in a movie because I wonder. And then, so that's like all that stuff. That's like 8 reviews, 4 interviews, and then including the themes on 5 tracks. That's like 100 minutes, basically, more or less. So that basically rides out the majority of the show, right? 100 out of 120 minutes. So you might be asking at this very moment, how does the show end? Well, I'll tell you. Some British World War II movies on Film Movement Plus. Some British World War II Film Movement Plus Blu-rays get reviewed. Alright, so that's awkwardly worded. I had to edit that. But they're World War II movies on Blu-ray that are available through Film Movement Plus. That's like the company. God, even that was awkwardly worded. They are Blu-rays that are British World War II movies, and the distributor is Film Movement Plus. Okay, that was a little bit better. And so the 3 movies are The Dam Busters, Ice Cold and Alex, and Dunkirk. The Dam Busters is excellent. Ice Cold and Alex is okay. Dunkirk's kind of lame. And it's not the Christopher Nolan one. These are all from the 1950s. And so I'm excited about the Dam Busters, but what I'm more excited about is that I get down with the Wu-Tang collection. That is such a fantastic YouTube channel, and I really hope you subscribe to them if you like Kung Fu movies. And if you don't, I want you to subscribe to them, and I want you to become a Kung Fu movie fan, damn it. That's what I want to see happen. So yeah, what I'm doing in April is I'm reviewing 3 Wu-Tang Collection movies per broadcast. I've already seen them all, and I've already written the reviews. I did it a while back. And so the movies are The Mystery of Chess Boxing, Invincible Armor, and Shaolin vs. Wu-Tang for this broadcast. And they're awesome. They're the best. They're the best. If you go on Letterboxd, I gave 2 of them 4 out of 5, 4.5, and the other one 5 out of 5. So yeah, you want my Letterboxd to see which ones though. And so you can find me. I'm the Movie Mystic on Letterboxd. And of course on Twitter, I'm doing this part again. Movie_Mystic on Instagram. I'm the Movie Mystic 2021. Join the Facebook group, which is Mystic and Severe on CKCOFM. And of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you very much. So that's it. And then I'll talk about the tracks. So yeah, they're good tracks. They're cool tracks. Of course, Roberto Donati kicks off the show. And then before we get into I'm Fine, Thanks for Asking, I play the song Deep Cover for the Deep Cover soundtrack by Michel Colombier. And that's like a cool instrumental, like hip-hop instrumental track. It's not like a super sophisticated beat, but it's cool. It's a cool, like, ambient, thing, early 90s, I don't know. Yeah, it's cool. It's I like Deep Cover. I don't know. It's like not a great movie or anything, obviously, but it's a fun one. I have a sentimental connection to it, I guess, because I saw it in Los Angeles at the New Beverly Theater. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed that experience very much. And so was I? Why did I pick that? I guess this is because Kelly and Angelique were just reminded me, they were just like cool California people, and that was a cool California experience. It made sense to me. I don't know. Maybe it makes no sense. And then before the TYT Productions interview, I do a track from Sonatine. Because Sonatine's cool. I don't know why I picked that. I have no idea. I really have no idea. It's just cool. But then, yeah, it's like, it's an interesting track. I really have no clue. I can't even think of a disparate connection. But then I can connect the dots for the next track. So I played a song from Zeitgeist. I know. It's a little intense. It's a little weird. I'm not really a fan of the substance of Zeitgeist, but I'm interested in that sort of aesthetic. It's kind of weird. It's kind of kooky. Makes you feel like mentally unstable, I guess. And the song's called Exposition A, and it's actually composed by Peter Joseph, the director of Zeitgeist. I didn't know he did the music for the film as well, but I picked the Peter Joseph aesthetic because I thought it would work with Stuart Brand's kind of weird aesthetic too. You know, Peter Joseph and Stuart Brand kind of remind me of each other. They're very intelligent. They're both very intelligent. They make a lot of interesting points, but maybe in the larger points they construct or a lot of side points, I just kind of tune out and can't give it all the credence that maybe they would like me to. That's how I am, man. I'm not too in deep with all that stuff. The sort of new age thing. I don't know. That's not even the right word. I don't know. Peter Joseph and Stuart Brand just reminded me of each other. a little bit. And then I play a song called Natural Magic by Jack Nitzsche off the Performance soundtrack. Now, I can link that back because the movie Performance stars Mick Jagger, and this is going into the Under the Volcano stuff. And the Rolling Stones are Under the Volcano. So there you go. Mick Jagger in the Rolling Stones in Performance, played before. And it's just a cool song, man. I like Jack Nitzsche. It's just a cool song, man. Natural Magic. It's like 100 seconds. It's dope. And then I got a song by Dimitri Timokhin called Legend of Navarone off the Guns of Navarone soundtrack. And that's because that plays before my World War II reviews. And also, the director of Ice Cold and Alex is the same as Legend of Navarone. So now you know. So that's the connection there. And then I play a track called from Invincible Shaolin. It's like the song they play in the trailer by Yun Yu Chen. And that's because that's before the Wu-Tang collection reviews. That makes sense. It's a banger too. It's a hot song. And then after that, I play the show out to the Dirty Dozen soundtrack suite. So it's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 songs from the Dirty Dozen. And it sounds an awful lot like Legend of Navarone. It's sort of that 60s classical, action cinema sound. 60s action cinema quintessentials right there. With the Guns of Navarone and the Dirty Dozen. Both movies I own on Blu-ray too, actually. I'm a big fan of them. I like that style. I'm from the 70s action movies, and 80s is pretty cool too. The 60s is like the weirdest, but it's just a transition. It's such an interesting decade. But yeah, I love the Dirty Dozen. That's really, out of the two, that's the one I prefer. Anyways, that's the upcoming broadcast. Or you can listen to it now. Whatever. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I certainly enjoyed doing it. Don't really know what more to say. If you dig this show, you dig this show. I am actually not going to be doing South by Southwest coverage on the next broadcast, but I will be on subsequent broadcasts. So it's going to be a little break from South by Southwest after this one. Because, well, you're going to have to stay tuned to find out why. And, yeah, I love this festival, though. It's been such a pleasure to cover. And everyone's been just, high-fiving me the whole way through. So, thanks a lot, guys. It means a lot to me.